And good morning, good morning. I'm Rabbi Brian, right, says so down there. This is October the 28th, 2023. I'm glad that you're here. This is the Saturday service, which is sort of like a book club without a book. I did put in the announcement for today, I said that this is, in a way, a support group and that we could all use some support. And I'm just thinking on, well, here's the sermon for the day is just this picture right here. The tree fell over years ago, never gave up. And I think that's what we're looking at. This is I'm going to call it out for how it is. This is a really hard time we're in. Show of hands, anyone enjoying life right now and finding it really easy to get through? Oh, let me show everybody on the screen. So first, no, this is not to say I'm having an easy time, but just to wave to say hi to the people who are watching on YouTube and Facebook. And I'll go back to the regular view, but I'm glad that you all were joining. This is a hard time right now.
Right. Hold on.
This is a hard time right now. We are all in for it's rough. And I think about a roller coaster that life is kind of like a roller coaster. It's got the ups and the downs, and the thing that about a roller coaster is roller coasters, like reality right now, make me feel a little bit ill, and roller coasters make me want to scream. And that's where I feel right now. I feel like this is a really hard time we're all in. We're in a really rough time. I'm going to share a quote to start us off. It's a quote from Krishnamurti, and I'm going to write it right here. It is no indication of being well adjusted to be. Oh, I screwed up the quote. Oh, hold on a second. Brain just froze. No indication of being well adjusted. Oh, I know what I did. I think it's start that again, and sorry about it. It starts this way: being well adjusted to a profoundly sick society.
Oh.
Is no indication of health.
Yeah.
And that's Krishnamurti. Being well adjusted to a profoundly sick society is no indication of health. It's a really hard time we're in right now. It's a really hard time we're in right now. Our society is profoundly sick. And for us to be well adjusted to it there's the quote that says, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. There's something like that here. If you're not feeling ill by what you're seeing in the newspapers, what you're hearing, what's going on, you're missing something. We oughtn't feel well right now. It's part of why we all gather together is to have community, to be able to look at other people's faces and say, it is really hard right now. I'm having a hard time too. I see you. I see you're having a hard time, and it's okay to have a hard time. Let me change topics, change for a side.
No. Yes. Yeah.
I think we all know what we shouldn't be doing right now, but what we should be doing is a little harder. What do we do in the face of all of the atrocities, all of the problems in the world? I don't think we can glad hand it and say that everything, oh, things are just fun. We can't paint a happy smiley face over this shit sandwich. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't find the moments of joy that we can find and some gratitude that we can find. So I'm going to ask us to switch gears for a sec. And I'm going to ask you, those of you who have been here, this isn't your first time coming, and is there something that we've talked about in the past of the 5 stages of learning, have to or get to, small, medium, large, WPP, any of those things? Are there any of the lessons that we've done in the past weeks, in the past months, that you particularly resonated with in the last week? And if so, would you care to share it? And I thought, I'll be right with you, Gwyneth. And I thought this might be a way for us to start, is with some review of what is it that we've been talking about here, and how have you applied it in your other 6 days a week? How have you applied it elsewhere? And if you have something to share this week, that's fantastic. You didn't know I was going to ask this, but we're going to try it again next week. Of any of the topics that we've talked about, if you and I got a text from a member just this morning that said, um, Rabbi, one of the things you teach about just staying curious really helped me this week in a difficult situation. I was like, that's really cool. Gwyneth, what you got, my friend?
Oh, I was just going to say that the thing about the difference between have to and get to
Yeah.
has been really, really influential, and it has full on become like a household catchphrase at this point. Like my husband is saying it all the time now. Like
and
we
remind us of what this is, because not everybody knows what you're saying. So it's sometimes
to kind of reframe the thinking of things that you feel you have to do as that you get to do that instead. We've kind of been using that personally a lot with things that feel difficult or boring or routine, or like a hassle or whatever, that just to be always thinking of like, okay, this is an annoying thing or a boring thing or a thing to be gotten through, but what a privilege that we get to be here to do it at all. And it's I cannot tell you how often we use that. Like, it's literally several times a day.
Is that instead of saying have to, is sometimes we catch ourselves and say,
Yeah.
instead of saying I have to remind my children to load
Yep.
the dishwasher, I get to remind my children to load the dishwasher.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Gwyneth. I'm so glad that one's working for you.
Also working.
Is there something else?
It gets you laughing too, I think, Gwyneth.
Say it again, Emily.
It gets you laughing too.
Oh, yeah.
Some really awful things. I get to.
Yes.
I get to take out
Clean
the
up
trash today.
Yep.
Yeah, it lightens it up. Thank you, Gwyneth. Thank you, Emily. Any other of our things that we've talked about that really stuck with you, that can help us enforce learning? Yeah, Jack.
Yeah, for me, it's I realized that all this crap that's going on the last couple of weeks and months is just to keep working on being kinder to myself and to everybody else.
In the midst of everything that's going on, you realize that it's important to be kinder to yourself and to other people.
Yeah.
How do you actualize that? How do you make that happen, Jack?
Being aware of my reactions to things.
Yeah. That there's always space to be kind. And the part you added in, Jack, was and also to ourselves. Folks, if we can't be kind to ourselves, well, we should be kind to ourselves. We need to be kind to ourselves. Oh, wait, we could add. I'm going to review this one right now because it's just coming out of my mouth as I'm saying it. And then I'll be right with you, Ray. About being kind to ourselves, we've got small, medium, large. Somebody help me out who knows this acronym.
Should, might, like.
So kind to myself. I should be kind to myself. If we move it up on the ladder,
I might.
I might be kind to myself. Keep going.
Should.
We got
Should.
I should be kind to myself. I might be kind to myself.
I'd like to be kind to myself.
I'd like to be kind to myself.
I will be kind to myself.
I will be kind to myself. And will's
I
pretty
get to
good,
be.
but it goes
I
further
get to be
than
kind to
that.
myself.
Promise.
I plan to be kind to myself.
I am kind to
I
myself.
promise to be kind to myself. And then eventually we get all the way up to we can do it without thinking, and that links us back into this one. But I don't want to do all the review and everything today. But great. Thank you, Jack, for reminding us the importance of being kind to ourselves. Go ahead, Ray.
Well, and in that same vein, remembering, not only to be kind to ourselves and others, but to be grateful for the little things that we have.
Yeah.
Going back to, I get to take the garbage out because thank God someone else will pick it up and I don't have to take it to the dump. That, oh, good God, I've got to I have to go shopping again. Thank God there's food in the market and that I have money enough to buy it.
Yes.
So being grateful for the little things in your life, and maybe that'll help balance out some of the truly hoardness that's going on in the world.
I love it, Ray. There's a theory in marriage and in parenting that we should have a 4-to-1 ratio of positive to neutral moments for every criticism or complaint. So I say to Emmett, oh, look, you're playing your video game. That's neutral. Hey, I love the way that you did something. That's positive. But to have a bank of 4 of these positives to neutrals, because if he just keeps hearing me say, hey, Emmett, you didn't do the dishwasher yet, and he hears too many criticisms and complaints, he's going to not want to listen to me anymore. And Ray, it's exactly what you're talking about. The more we can notice and have moments of noticing gratitude, the more we're going to have in the bank for when we have the hard times. I love that, Ray. Thank you. That being all said, in a moment, I'm going to ask us, can we talk about gratitude? We'll have our 1 minute of gratitude. But before we do that, I'm going to ask you, would you do me a favor and have a piece of paper and a pen near you so you can write down some of the things that we talk about? Because at the very end of this service, in about 30, 40 minutes, I'm going to ask you, what are you going to take with you? What learning are you taking with you? And it's easier if you have a little note next to you. So I'll ask you to have that at the ready. Keep down whatever it is that you're picking up. Because what we're talking about, and then we'll get to the gratitude. I'm going to sermonize for a moment. So please brace yourselves. The thing I'm talking about in this service, it's wonderful that you show up. It's great that you're listening to this. If you're on YouTube afterwards, hey, if you're on Twitch, extra points. Because I found out if I get 9 people on Twitch, they level me up to become a Twitch. I don't remember what the category is, but it's some title, and it's not really a prize, but it makes me feel better about myself. If you, oh, I lost my choo-choo train. Hold on. I'm with me. Okay. What I'm talking about in this service is what Jack was talking about, what Ray was just talking about. It's about self-love. It's about getting through the world with ease. I can do my best, and we can do our best as a group on our 1 hour together. But the more you can practice it, like Gwyneth was talking about with your family, the more you can practice it just by yourselves in the off hours, the more you're going to indoctrinate yourself. That sounds like a really loaded, religious, yucky, culty kind of term. But the more you're going to indoctrinate yourself towards having the 4 moments of gratitude for every one of criticism and complaint. These are goals. This is what we're getting towards. That all being said, in this really hard world in which we find ourselves today, what do you have gratitude for? Let's take a few, and I'd love to hear from people's voices who I haven't heard from yet today. What's something that you're grateful for? What's something that you're grateful for? And we're putting out the things we're grateful for, and then we'll have a minute of just silent gratitude. We're putting out the things we're grateful for so that we remember that even in our darkest hours, and even when bombs are going off and children are being killed in what seems to be pretty senseless to many of us, that there's still moments we have gratitude and we don't fall into despair. So I'll ask you, put your hand up electronically or physically, I can see you. What do you have that you're grateful for? What moment of gratitude? Yeah, Betsy, thank you. And then thank you, Aaron. So glad to see you back, Aaron. Go ahead, Betsy.
Thankful for my daughter who came over last night to carve pumpkins with me.
Oh, that's wonderful. Amen. Go ahead, Aaron.
Just my simple creativity, even little things. Realize I have something to offer, even though I'm very critical of me in particular.
Yeah,
which
that
probably
even in the midst of being cruel to yourself, you can find moments of self-love.
Right.
That's a beautiful thing. Go ahead, Connie.
I'm thankful that, and this sounds really strange, that we have the ability to move closer to our daughter.
That's a beautiful thing. Thank you, Connie. Anyone else have one they want to share out loud or put into the chat? Yeah, Lenny.
Well, I'd like to say what Aaron said. I'm grateful for my creativity. I'm grateful that I can have nights of performing where I know I've lifted people up and made them laugh and made them happy. And I'm very grateful for that.
Thank you, Lynn. I'm going to just call Lynn out. Lynn's one of the people who Lynn was at my wedding. So thank you for being in my life, Lynn. I'm so glad to see you here. Bob, what do you got?
I am very grateful for all the birds that I can watch as they fly around in the trees here and bring another dimension of life to my awareness.
Amen. Amen. So let's take a minute of time to just have a minute of just gratitude. I'm going to put a 1 minute clock up. No, I'm not. Hold on. There's our 1 minute. Let's just take a minute and think on gratitude for this minute.
Talking about
Thank you all. I want to show you where is it? A quote from Camus. He said this: "In the middle of winter, I at last discovered that there was in me an invincible summer." That's the same as this tree. Fell years ago, never gave up. In the middle of winter. What does that mean? In the middle of winter. I mean, I know what it means literally.
In the middle of despair.
In the middle of despair. I discovered that I at last discovered. I think that's an important little phrase, at last. I at last discovered. It's not I discovered. It's in the middle of winter. I at last discovered. What does that mean? What does that add in? I at last discovered.
That you try to find, hope earlier, and it takes a while. It takes work to discover that.
Yeah, it takes work. It's not instant. It's not something we were born with. In the middle of winter, I finally realized, I at last discovered there was in me. What's that part?
Can't just add water.
There was in me an invincible summer. Invincible. That's a strong word. What's that mean to you?
Well, you discovered in yourself, perhaps your own self-worth.
It was within me.
It's always been there, but you just now discovered it.
Yeah. Doesn't that give you a little bit of solace to know that within you there's an invincible summer? Jack used a phrase, it's going to use the word salvation, and please don't get bogged down by the word salvation here. But Jack used this phrase on Tuesday, and I just loved it. Can I get it on my screen? Uh-oh. There it is. There's joy in knowing salvation is my birthright. Just look at the purple. Don't look at any other colors here. There's joy in knowing salvation is my birthright. I think that's very similar to this Camus quote. Just looking at it in different words. In the middle of winter, I at last discovered there was in me an invincible summer.
The awareness of your power.
Say it again, Jack.
The awareness of my power.
Awareness of your power. Explain.
That you have the ability to do this. Do whatever you want to or need to.
That you
Everybody
have it.
has.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's within us.
It's in us, waiting to be discovered. Yeah, Rob?
I rediscovered it.
You rediscovered it. Yes, I love that.
Because
Rob.
I discovered it when I was 5.
Uh-huh. And then
and
what
I
happened?
kept rediscovering it throughout my life.
Yeah.
And it was at my stroke when I was 63 that I lost it completely. And then I rediscovered it. And it hasn't left me since, thankfully.
Amen. Beautiful.
Amen.
John?
I often find it very sobering. It may be akin to the summer, but to think of any complaint I might have and to analyze myself and say, what a first world idiot you are to complain about such things.
I'm going to give you a yes and. Yes, but I can tell you from my counseling people that I hear people doing what I refer to as spiritual self-violence. And they tell themselves, oh, I shouldn't be upset about that. There are people who have it much worse than I do. And they minimize their own experience. They minimize their own hardship. and put it away as though they're not suffering. And the example that I'll give is a 10-year-old who comes to you and says, I just lost the love of my life. I was talking with them and then they blew me off to become friends with someone else. And the 10-year-old sobbing. We would never say to the 10-year-old, oh, get over it. It's puppy love. You're 10 years old. What do you know? We wouldn't tell the 10-year-old, your suffering isn't valid here. But often we do that to ourselves. Sometimes, rightfully, we're being a little melodramatic and we're complaining where we oughtn't. But sometimes we're being a little bit rude to ourselves when we're having a hard time by minimizing it and saying, oh, these are all first world problems. I shouldn't complain about this. And I don't think that that's fair.
I think I use the word sobering.
Okay.
Because to me that brings another perspective rather than dismissing.
That it's sobering.
It makes me want to reach out more to others.
I love that. Connecting to other people is always a good sign. I'm going to bring up a picture here. Let's see how this goes. Oh, wait, before I bring up the picture, I haven't told you all for a long, long time. And maybe some of you don't know the narrative of how I got to be this rabbi who's doing this thing and who has some mad presentation in educational skills. So I'll just give you a quick little reminder or telling. I got ordained as a rabbi, as you can tell, because I got the hat and I got all the certificates back there. And after working as a congregational rabbi for a few years, I realized I didn't like it. I didn't like that I was promoting one path where I see many paths. I didn't like that I didn't like this idea of team. And I think that this idea of an us is wonderful and that we should have community, but organized religion often makes an us at the exclusion of a them. And I didn't like that, so I dropped out. I didn't know what the heck to do. And with the title rabbi on my resume, it's hard to find a job. And I have the ability to, in math, so I taught math because schools were always needing high school math teachers. So I taught high school math to mainly, my specialty wound up being 10th graders in Algebra 2. That was my strong suit. And I found my first year was a train wreck. It was awful. I yelled at my classes. I couldn't do classroom management. I didn't know how it worked. And I had a third grade supervisor. I had a mentor who was a third grade teacher. And she explained to me this brilliant phrase that they don't care what you know until they know that you care. They don't care what you know until they know that you care. And I found the more that I cared about my students and the more that I loved on them, the more that I saw them for who they were, the easier classroom management became. And I started teaching them all the little bits of philosophy that I knew, all the get to and have to and the should, might, like, and anything I could teach them. And the more I taught them about life, the more they wanted to stay with me, the more they wanted to learn. And the easier the math became. And it got to the point at the end of my teaching tenure, I was probably only teaching math 75% of the time, and we're a good quarter of the time just not doing math at all. We're talking about life. And the math was easy enough because it's reasonable, it's rational, it's our brains are built for it. And if you have people who aren't fighting you, so the unspoken agreement was the more you do your math homework, the more you learn about math, the more I'll go off topic and tell you about how different alcohols make you drunk. Somebody had to teach the kids that. Why am I telling you this? Oh, and then I kept up a blog on the side, and the blog grew. And as the blog grew, I started teaching less until I finally left teaching high school, and I found a more needy group of individuals who needed to be loved, and that were adults on the internet. And that's how I got to be who I am today. So I'm glad to have shared that little bit with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad that you guys are all are here and that you're all enjoying this way of doing religion that I'm putting out. I want to show you a picture, and it is of a dress, and actually in Wikipedia it is defined. If you look up Wikipedia and you just put in the words "the space dress," a picture of this dress comes up. Y'all see that dress?
Yep.
Okay. So without just taking a look at a simple question, what color is that dress?
Brown. Black, white, and brown.
White and gold.
White and gold?
Oh, yeah.
Black and blue.
Black and blue? Wait.
Yeah, black and blue.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Gold and white.
Wait, gold and white. Y'all looking at the same screen that I'm looking at?
Yep.
Who's team blue and black? Who thinks this is a blue and black? Right, you're right. It's a blue and black dress. Okay, and on the other hand, how many of you see this and you know this is a white and gold, and Rabbi's in on cahoots with everybody? There's a white and gold dress. Okay, I'm gonna show the hands up here for a second. So, how many of you are team white and gold, and you know that I'm having a joke with the team blue and black? Blue and black people, show me your hands. Blue and black, and do you? Right, blue and black, you know that the people who see it as white and gold are just messing with you, right?
No.
What do you know?
Well, no, I don't think they're messing with me. This was on Facebook, and everybody saw it, seemed to see it as different colors for some reason.
Yeah.
Could be genetic optics or something.
This is a bizarre moment of, if like, for the infinite number of photographs that exist in the world, this one happened to be a photo in a bizarre colored yellowish light that made the dress seem to some people to be blue and black, and for some people to be white and gold. And here's a picture that should settle the confusion. You see this woman wearing the dress, and you see in the shadows, you see it's different colors.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
So why am I bringing this up? Because when people don't see what we see, we can't understand. How do you not see what I see? It's clearly the Palestinians' fault. It's clearly Netanyahu's fault. It's clearly a white and gold dress. It's clearly a blue and black dress. It's clearly their fault. But it doesn't look that way. Not to other people. They clearly see something different than what you see. Shouting at Team Blue and Black, "It's white and gold, you morons!" Is that going to help?
No.
Shouting the other way is not going to help either. How do, until we get the picture of the woman with the shadow that we can see that it's both at the same time, how do we go about interacting with each other so that we don't wind up screaming at
Be
each other?
open-minded.
Thank you, Rob. It's to be open-minded. This was I told you I got a text today. It's this one. Stay curious. I'd love to get a list. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but can you give me some synonym phrases for stay curious? And stay curious, we could also say, Rob just said it, be open-minded. What else do you have?
Be willing to learn.
See all the perspectives.
Be willing to listen.
Be astonished.
Ooh.
That's from Mary Oliver.
I know, honey.
Experiment.
Experiment.
Holy shit.
Say that one again. I missed one.
Never mind. Holy shit.
I'm missing the phrase. I'm sorry.
Shit. Holy shit.
Oh, astonishment of holy shit. I got you.
Yeah.
That's,
yes.
That's
Awareness of self is everything.
Yeah.
To question.
Oh, I love that one. Y'all remember this from a long time ago?
All right. Yeah.
Do you remember that one? What's that mean?
Questions are better than statements.
Questions are greater than statements. Thank Anne. I know you were also on the buzzer on that one. Thank you.
Oh, it was just, yeah, the questions are more important than the answers.
Right.
More questions, less answers.
Yeah.
Jane saw the picture of the dress and she thought Emmett was in cahoots with me trying to pull a trick on her. It's really hard, especially when it's clearly in front of you and you can see that the dress is this color and that color. Here, let me give you this one. What do you see here, even though it's under horrible green lighting?
Strawberries.
Strawberries. What color are the strawberries?
Red.
No.
Red.
If you zoom in all the way on this one, and I don't have the capability of doing it, there's actually no red in this picture.
Yes, there is.
I see red.
It's in your
I
mind.
see red.
No, you don't.
It's in your mind.
Here, hold on. Let me see if I can share it this way.
It's in the world.
There's some white in the middle of the strawberries.
So here, hold on a second. I'm going to use Magic Rabbi powers. I do 5, 6.
A cluster of microscopic eggs.
No. Oh my goodness. I don't have my... There it is. Okay, close your eyes. You're going to all get seasick here for a second. Okay, there's my strawberries. I'm going to zoom in on my strawberries. You still see red?
Yep.
Yes.
Still see red?
It's
Yep.
kind of
Don't see anything.
gray shadows in